Welcome to the final episode of the Ultimate Survival Keep tutorial series. In episode 1, we prepared the land we're currently building on and constructed a starter castle. In episode 2, we took care of our food situation by building a barn. In episode 3, we allowed for further progression by including a space for enchanting our gear, brewing up some pots, and even built a portal. In episode 4, we got a bit more ambitious and finished the inside buildings with a cozy villager trading hall. And in the previous episode, we built these large towers in each corner of the keep. Today we're knuckling down and finishing off this keep by building the smaller towers in between, along with the walls to connect them together. We'll also be building the interior road system as well as a few street lamps for lighting, which means we'll end this build off by constructing the gate. These are the materials you'll need for each section of today's tutorial. Feel free to pause the video or to take a screenshot. I've included all the layout plans for each individual asset which we'll be building. We'll begin with step 1, which is building the small tower's layout into the ground. Once that layout has been built, we can build the tower's structure 11 blocks high. As an optional addition to this step, you could use stone and cobblestone to add texture around the tower. Now we can move on to step 2. This step is mainly for the detailing of the tower, so we'll begin by adding windows. There will be 3 windows on the outside as well as another 3 on the inside of the keep. We could add a few lanterns hanging from fences to add a bit more detail to the tower, and might as well sprinkle a few leaves around with some coarse dirt. Now step 3 is great because it aims to add survival world use to this little tower. It involves us building an interior with about 4 floors inside here. I'm opting to repeat the same design for each floor, but you're welcome to make each one unique if you'd like. Moving on to step 4, we'll need to top this small tower off with a nice little roof. I decided to use deep slate to transition between the tower and the roof, while I used spruce for the actual roof part. Now is the time to initiate step 5, which is building one of these small towers in between each larger tower. Well done, I knew you could do it. Now let's move on to building the walls. Initiating step 6 requires us to build the foundation for the wall. Now we can move on to step 7, which is building the wall. It's a total of 8 blocks tall. Just like before, there's an optional addition to this step, which is adding texture with stone and cobblestone. Now if we add a walkway on top of this wall with a few castle-like details on the top of each side, step 8 can allow us to make this useful and look more like a castle. Step 9 is another exciting one as we get to add more detail to the wall. We'll begin with windows and finish off with more leaves and coarse dirt around the bottom. Moving on to step 10, which is building the wall segments into all the gaps. Congratulations, I knew you could do it. Now let's move on to one of the most exciting parts. With step 11, we can tear out these old roads and use an incredibly simple design to make the interior of this keep look fantastic. Through step 12, we'll be putting the cherry on top of this interior section in the keep. I love the idea of sprinkling in a few street lamps throughout the keep. They made the whole experience feel more immersive for me. I found this design for the street lamp on Pinterest by an account called Gamma Build. You can build these wherever you'd like to have them in the keep. Now for the moment we've all been waiting weeks for. Let's finish the keep off with a gate. Starting the gate with step 13, we can build its foundation. Moving on to building the gate structure in step 14. The gate is a total of 11 blocks high. I think it looks nicer when the gate is slightly taller than the walls but shorter than the main towers. As with all the previous structures, there's an optional addition we can make to the structure by texturing it with stone and cobble. Moving on to step 15, let's build the entry point in the gate. It involves breaking out a large section of it and finishing the top points off with stairs. Step 16 is one of my favorite details in this whole keep because it makes the gate look like it can open and close. In other words, we'll be building the gate part which looks like it would slide up to open and down to close. We'll come back to this later, we just need to build a different part of it quick. In step 17, we're preparing a few odd things for the gate, like building this floor inside. Once the floor is in place, we have a reference point for the windows. And yes, even the gate is going to have an interior. The gatekeeper needs a place to sleep too, you know. Now, before we can build that interior, we need to finish off the bottom part of the gate with a key detail. This detail is meant to make the gate look as if it works with a weighted system that pulls the gate up and lowers it down. Moving on to step 19, we can build the interior. It's not much, but it's an honest little cozy space for the gatekeeper to stay. Furthermore, we could add a few more things on top to incorporate even more detail. Now let's move on to the final step of this tutorial and of the entire series. Step 20 requires us to build the top castle part of the keep's gate. This detail is crucial in finishing the build off nicely and making it look like it belongs. That concludes the final episode of this Ultimate Survival Keep tutorial series. You can download the fully completed project on my Patreon. By becoming a Patreon member, you'll have access to the world download and various schematic assets, along with over 100 other world downloads. If you're looking for a new project, consider this build next.